The reason why we wanted to hold this event was to bring lots of different people into the room from different perspectives, different experiences, and to share their knowledge and life experiences with each other so that they can understand from a holistic perspective as to how to actually take action, what are the experiences of people, and then for the actions that they take, for those to be sustainable in the sense that they relate to the experiences of people living with dementia and their carers.
You've met one person with dementia, you've met one person with dementia. Everybody is different and everybody experiences their dementia differently. And that goes for LGBTQ plus people as well. We heard from the lived experience clips that were shown earlier in the day. People have different views, different perspectives, different experiences. We're not all a homogenous group, and it's really important to remember that. We talk about individualised, relationship-based care, trips off the tongue, but we really have to make it real for people, whatever their background and whatever their circumstances and their living situations.
Neither T nor I have come up against a lot of prejudice anywhere. We both came out after we were 40. We're women, so it's never really been actually illegal. And we've both just sort of felt accepted and not had to fight anything. You know, I haven't been one of the women who was going to lose custody of her children. My children were already nearly adult. There are other people where it's been illegal, and where perhaps where they live, they're not living in London, where there's been a lot of prejudice, where they've not been able to face up or openly be who they are. And we've just never experienced that. So now that she has dementia, the dementia bit's been really difficult, but I haven't felt that being gay or being lesbian in any way has made that worse for us. But that's not the same for everybody. And I do know there's people in our groups that have experienced very different earlier life, where they were, where there's men, it was illegal, where they were beaten up, where they couldn't be out at work. And that hasn't arisen for us in the same way. And I think that's opened up our approach to services, perhaps, that I've felt more open about the care home, open about the day centre.
I think sometimes I'm surprised about what people don't know about the reality for LGBT people. I think because I'm quite in it, like I'm in the community, I work in the community, and so many things that are inequalities that are quite shocking become really normal to all of us. And then when you hear it reflected back from someone who's like, oh, that's really concerning, that's really scary, I don't know about that, what can we do about that? I think what surprises me is like, oh, right, like people care but they don't know. And so it's like surprising and exciting, the information that people don't have and what they can do once they do have it.
Well, I think there's been a whole variety of individuals that have had so many different perspectives on things. The last lady that I spoke to expressed something quite impactful, which is that if you're thinking about and involved with an LGBT plus QA couple, that you should start with the partner carer rather than just the carer, because to do otherwise would sort of dehumanise and belittle the relationship and put it in a secondary position. So I think, you know, bearing in mind, and it was a theme that ran through the different conversations, of keeping that human-centric element to all of the interactions. And you know, it can be simple as, you know, how you use different words. It's very important to be as appropriate and inclusive as you can be, and I think that's something that has resonated today.
So I think One of the key things that I'd never thought about before, even though I've been involved in some dementia research and I've been involved in LGBTQ research, is that actually in terms of brain health, the fact that people who are LGBTQ, particularly older people, are going to have already kind of succumbed to minority stress, so they're going to have experienced a lifetime of stress, that actually that will have had an impact on their brain health, which then makes them more likely to develop something like dementia. So I'd never really thought about that connection before, and the fact that actually this is a group that is going to be potentially more at risk. So therefore we really need to think carefully about how we do research with these people and how we kind of turn that research into action. So I think the other thing that we've kind of talked about quite a lot today is that there's lots to think about when you're doing research with people with dementia around how you make that meaningful, how you do it in a way that they can feel involved and feel ownership over. And then there's lots of elements around working with people, particularly older LGBTQ plus people, around building trust, around them feeling like it's a safe space, around them feeling confident that if we're going to do research that things might actually change as a result of that research.
I think another thing that I took away from today is how, as researchers, we need to engage with people within local communities, particularly underserved communities like the LGBTQIA+. I think it's very important to understand the history and the background of this underserved group, and not only to engage but to work collaboratively and in partnership when doing research and developing interventions. So it's co-production and co-design. I think that's all very important.
I worked at a charitable organisation for a long time and had requests every week from researchers wanting to engage with our service user group. And it's really important that researchers are very clear about their intent. You know, why do they want to engage with this work? Is it funding that's driving the work? Is it because there's a true desire for inclusive research and to unpick a particular question and to be explored with LGBTQ plus communities? And who's creating that question? So again, on our table, we talked about, as researchers often drive the question, but the community may not want that question answered. So without that engagement of research from the foundation, from the fundamentals, we might be researching something that's completely irrelevant, inaccessible, inappropriate for the community that we want to engage with.
Within the community, there's great commitment and there's great understanding and awareness, but unfortunately sometimes as researchers, I talk from my own experience, we struggle to get the message out there at large in the public. So I think it's really important for us to create opportunities like this that are open to the public, community events in community centers, because this is the way to bridge those gaps that we currently have maybe between researchers, between the community and the larger audiences, which we need to get that support in making change.
I think one thing that I've taken from today as well is how little there is that out there.
Yes.
Already, that there's not many support services for people living with dementia from the LGBTQ plus community at all, which has kind of given me a new lease to try and help you with setting up a group that is specific for that community, so they know that they're not alone and that we can support them.
I really found the fact that SPIN-D, with all their little branches of other organisations, incredibly important to take away, because I had no idea that this network existed. I'm brand new to this area. So for me, this was not just a learning experience today, but it was also embedding understanding and knowledge that could really help the community that I work in, the LGBTQ community that I work in, and the QTPOC community I work in, and the TMBI community that I work in.
And I think, leaving this, this event today, I think I feel inspired to challenge bad practice. I feel more connected to my community. I feel that this is one of many more to come, and in terms of events, and I feel that I know in person my peers and who I can turn to for support, and to join forces for future events and amplify advocacy for LGBTQIA+ people who might or might not live with dementia.